Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another session. As you can probably see behind me, down the canal, it's the 19th of March today. Close season is in place. So back on the canals and pools. Now what I did do was, my idea for today was to go to a local pool. But the kind of weather's scuppered that. It's although it doesn't look it, it's a bit breezy and a bit of northwesterly blowing, and that place just wasn't going to happen at all. So I've come to the canal local to that place. I'm just having a bit of a look around, on almost pootling back home, to be honest. Came sort of follow the canal back home, and was nipping down all the little lanes as you do to have a look. And I nipped down one lane, bumped into a chap that I've met previously on Club Water, and was having a nice chat to him. And whilst I was chatting to him, he pulled out a lovely roach and said it's a great stretch of canal. So I thought, right, well, let's have a go here then. So many thanks to him, and here we are. As I say, it's a stretch of the Grand Union, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I can't ever bring myself to fish the canals, I have to say, when the river season's on, but now it's not on. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm all dressed up, got my thermals on, because it's only about 10 degrees today. It's not very warm, it keeps raining, but I'm quite warm actually. I'm going to have to take this snood off, I think. I'm cooking a bit. But yeah, found this stretch behind me, again on this angler's recommendation, so many thanks, as I say, to him. I'm sure he's watching this, hello there. And yeah, I'm gonna have a go here, hopefully catch some roach, some bream, perch. He tells me there's rudd in here as well, so who knows what we'll catch. That's the joy of fishing natural, in inverted commas, venues, isn't it? Right, enough talking. I'm going to get my gear set up. We'll run through the gear and we'll crack on. So guys, baits I've got with me today. I've got some maggots, trusty maggots of course. Bought some bread. I've got some ground bait, which once again is in a frozen lump at the moment. That's left over from the last time I went to the river. It's been in the freezer because it's not particularly warm today. It's not defrosting very quickly. A few bits of old carrier bag left on it. Yeah, well, it's just starting to rain again. But we'll get a little bit this ground bait in. It's about 50-50 liquidised bread and Angling Bait Company Pro Roach. So we'll get that mixed up and get a little bit of that in. So I've got some bread, I've got some Sweetcorn as well, I've got some worms. So that's going to be it. I'm going to fish sort of other side of the track. By that I mean the canal, they tend to be fairly shallow at the edges, and then there's like a boating channel in the middle that's around about 3 foot deep usually. I'm going to fish just the far side of that deep channel in the middle. That's what everyone tends to call it, the track. It's like the boating channel basically in the middle. The edges are usually about usually, this is very broadly speaking, but usually like a foot or 18 inches deep, and then it's about 3 foot deep in the middle, generally speaking, as I say. So gear I'm going to go with is, I've got my bounce stick there, I can get that in. That's it. Gear I'm going to go with is my 14-foot Cadence rod I've been using for Waggler fishing on the Avon. It's actually still set up exactly the same. Not ideal, but I have got my my close face reel on there. As I say, it's not the first choice, but it was already on there. It's already set up, this rod. So it's literally just a case of putting it together. I shall do now. Sticking a float on. Now I'm not going to be obviously using a Waggler quite the size of the one we used down the river, because I need to just swing this out, so I'm going to use as sensitive Waggler as I can. So it will mean removing a bit of the shot. So yeah, just to running through that again, I've got my Cadence CR10 14-foot match number 2 and my Garcia 704 close face reel, and that's what we're going on today. Now I'm going to, as I said, pick out a very sensitive Waggler from the Wagglers I've got here, my box of Wagglers. I've got some pretty small ones in here. I've got sort of reasonably small one like that, which is probably going to be the best bet. I wonder if we've got anything. What I could really do with is something with a very, very fine tip. would be ideal. If I can find something with a fine tip. Don't really have any sort of specialist canal floats as such. I think that one there is probably our best bet, or maybe slightly loaded. It's got a finer tip. We'll go with that one. It's got a finer tip on it. It's also graduated. We'll go with the straight Waggler. I can feel that rain on the back of my neck again. Yeah, we'll go with the straight Waggler. Slightly loaded as well, as I say, so we can not have too much shot on there down the line. Let's go with this one. It hasn't actually got, well, it has got a weight region on it, but it's almost rubbed off, so that's not a lot of use. I'll have to suck it and see, I think. So we'll try this one out. May fish the lift method. I do like fishing the lift method on the canal, but it just have to see it's fishing it. It's very nice. I've been and had a look at a different canal to this before I came here, and it was absolutely pulling through. Like, oh, you needed to use a stick float, to be honest. But this one, it's very, very dotted down a little bit too much, I think. But this one's not towing at all, which is fantastic. So I'm going to drop one of those tiny little shot off. Perhaps that one. Let's just check that out. That is perfect. It is just towing a tiny bit. So I may just go on the bottom, I think. I'll just plumb up, which I'm sure you don't want to watch me do. I'll plumb up a fish, as I say, far side of the track. We'll take it from there. So guys, we're plumbed up. It's just about 3 foot over there. I've put a little bit of ground bait in. Still a bit frozen, but I've put some in. So yeah, first cast. Look forward to this. See what we can catch. I'll sprinkle a few maggots in. Just towing a little bit. I think we'll have to go a little bit over depth, or we'll have to fish the lift method with a shot on the bottom. But we'll just let it move for now. Oh, there we go. Fish already. Can't believe it. Wow. Not a very big one. But we got one already. Well, I never. That's amazing. Wow. That is, from the looks of it. Do you know, that looks a little bit to me like a silver bream. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure it is. But it looks a bit like a silver bream to me. Careful. That very big eye. These two fins that are more coloured than the rest of them. But yeah. What do we think? I'm thinking silver bream. Well, it didn't take long, did it? It wasn't very big, but it didn't take long. That's flipping rain. That's most unpleasant. Now the water's not very warm, so I'm going to go fairly easy with the feeding. It's really not warm at all. I think it may pay me as well to get my keep net. Rather than returning these fish. We'll see. Right. Well guys, I've gone on the lift method because I couldn't get the float to stop moving. Just done our first bite. Oh, come on. Do love fishing the lift method, I have to say. Watching that float come up out of the water. Lovely spot here, lovely and quiet. It's a road just next to me. It's a reasonably quiet little lane. So basically what I've done to switch over to the lift method is taken off a BB and put on an AA. So effectively my float is now a BB over shotted. That AA is sat on the bottom at exactly the right depth, or slightly over depth, and then I've tightened up just to pull the float down so the float is sitting absolutely dead depth, and of course that AA on the bottom is stopping the float moving in the toe on the canal. As soon as a fish picks that bait up, either the float will go under or usually it will come up because they take the weight of the shot. That's the idea. We'll give it a while here, perhaps an hour, and then we can always have a move a bit further up, a bit further down. I'll keep an eye on the water. See any fish moving, we'll move on to them. But in my experience, you don't often see fish moving, especially when it's we're still in March and it's reasonably cold. Here we go. Definitely not there. The rain comes again. There we go. Now what's this? have a look. I have to say, that looks very silver breamish again to me, I have to say. Very red fins, big eye. Don't think it's a skimmer. Wow. I'm either misidentifying these fish, but they don't look like hybrids to me. Don't look like hybrids, and they don't look like roach. Certainly not roach. Wow. Oh, bite straight away then. Lovely lift that was. Ah, it's off. Oh, and that's quite annoying. That was either another silver bream or a nice roach, because I saw it. A maggot had masked the hook. Ah, annoying. Never mind, we're getting some bites. Oh God, I'm getting loads of bites. And I'm doing a good job of missing them. I think it's smaller fish though. It does appear to be smaller fish. Very quick bites. As I say, I'm fishing down the track. They are coming thick and fast, these bites. Now that's a skimmer. First of all, it's all slimy. Secondly, no red fins. Much smaller eye. I think that's a skimmer myself. Looks much different to me. Although I may be misidentifying all these fish. Oh, careful. Now, possibly, oh, and it smells. It just smells completely different as well. It smells like a bream. Now, possibly not going to be doing the swim much good, putting these fish back. But it doesn't seem to be affecting it at the moment. And as you know, I'm not a great fan of using a keep net. Unless I have to. And it seems that I don't have to in here, so I'm not going to. Right, great fun. We're catching some fish, which is sometimes not the easiest thing to do on the canal, so I'm happy. Nothing massive yet, but we've only been at it perhaps half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour. The nice thing is it's peaceful. Fishing a nice method that I enjoy. It's nice and peaceful. Only a few people been walkers been past, and one biker, well, one walker, a couple walking their dog, and one push bike, and that's it. It's nice and quiet. It's lovely. Apart from a tractor behind me, but that's the sound of the countryside, isn't it? You can't moan about that. If I do catch anything bigger though, I shall return it a bit further up the canal. Could perhaps be a bit more selective with baits as well if I want to catch some bigger fish. I'm just happy to catch a few fish at the moment, to be honest. But we could perhaps be a bit more selective. I'll stay perhaps till it starts to get dark. We might pick up some bigger fish as it starts to get dark. But part of the reason I came out today was because it's very overcast, hence it keeps raining. But yeah, it's we may pick up some slightly bigger fish as it gets dark. I've got some bread and some sweetcorn with me as well, which may help on that front. That's a nice lump of bread flake on perhaps a 14 or something. Got an 18 on at the moment. It is lovely just sitting watching a float. Takes you back to your childhood. I've never really fished this bit before, although it's on a card I've got. I've never really fished up here before. Oh no, this looks like a rudd. Oh, and a nice one as well. Wow. 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 Well guys, that's about that from the canal. Nice rudd on the lift at the canal. These fish are very feisty. That's fantastic. Wonderful. They seem up for a feed as well, which is important, obviously, when you're fishing. Well, the rudder here now. I won't lift him out. Well, what a session this is. Quite as big as the last one, but fantastic. This is wonderful. Wonderful. Wow. I wonder if they'd make an appearance. Very fat, fat little perch. Fab. like a spawn-bound female to me, so we'll get her back. Quite small, but honey, don't want to give my hook back. Come on. There we go. Not at all happy. Well, I've tried worm and sweetcorn, nothing doing. Got back on maggots, got a bite straight away. Excuse me, very croaky. Yeah, bite straight away. I've been feeding maggots. I think they get locked in on them, don't they? They get locked in on whatever you're feeding. It can often be difficult for them to get them to take anything else. If I decide I want to go for something bigger, or concentrate on perhaps catching a bigger fish, I can always feed a bit of corn, or put a decent bit of flake on perhaps. Just happy to see what's in here, to be honest, today. Well, certainly at the moment, as I say, perhaps when it starts to get dark, we'll try and catch something a bit bigger. Definitely lots of fish moving. I don't know if you can see. Lots of fish moving over here. CRT have cut back a lot of this foliage by the looks of it fairly recently. I know they've been having a bit of a hack back in lots of canal areas around here. They've been cutting all this back for sure. But it was even better with all that foliage hanging over the water. Oh, probably saw that as well. It's good if there's fish down that way, because the toe is going that way. So it's going to send a lovely smell of my ground bait off down that way, which is a good thing. Oh god, a scabby looking skimmer. Very, very hard going lately. The last sort of 40 minutes, I'm just thinking about having a move. So I may still do. It's just gone 5 o'clock now. I just getting near 5:30. I've come up off the bottom as well. I had that skimmer straight away. We'll give it a few minutes. So I might have a little move, a little bit further along. See if there's anything doing. Sort of letting the fishing just under depth and just letting the float slowly inch its way through. Well guys, it's very, very quiet here, so I'm going to have a move. There's fish moving. There do seem to be smaller fish. Sort of fish topping and splashing and stuff. But I think I'm going to have a little bit of a move. So guys, I've walked a bit further down the canal. It's starting to get a bit nippy actually. And I've come to obvious snag on the other side. And I've actually just seen something roll over here. I didn't see what it was, but something fairly substantial. Keep it exactly the same tactics. The water's still moving through here, obviously. I've only come about 100 metres or so. I'm just going to fish across to that snag over there without going in it, hopefully. Just see what we can do. Doesn't seem very deep in there. Certainly seems shallower than where we were just fishing. Just about the same in the track, but obviously the track is close to this side in the swim, because the boats clearly come over here to avoid that snag over this side. We'll give it a go anyway, a few minutes. Well guys, we've been here about 5 or 10 minutes and we're probably wasting our time here, because in the time I've been sat here I had 2 predator attacks. One of them was definitely a zander because I saw it, which, you know, it's not really surprising, is it, that the zander are hanging around by this big snag here. But yeah, I think probably fishing for anything else we're going to be out of luck. So I'm gonna move a bit further down that way. So guys, we're starting to lose the light. I've come to a new spot. Just a little bit down from that cover. Just wondering what sort of depth we've got. Some nice depth there. Put a little bit of bait in here. We'll give it perhaps 20 minutes in here, just to see if anything happens. Balls of ground bait and a few maggots. Fishing literally just off the end of the rod top, just to see if we get any knocks. It's very obvious when there's fish in the swim, when you're fishing the canals, there any sort of, you know, 2.5, 3 foot deep. Float soon starts moving about when there's fish in the swim. So we'll give it perhaps 20 minutes here. Like I say, it'll be properly starting to get dark by then. If we haven't done anything by then, we'll perhaps have a move back to the previous swim where we have those few fish, and just try and winkle out something a little bit bigger from there, perhaps, after it's had a rest. Let's see how it goes here first. So guys, moved. Just wasn't overly happy at the last spot. I'm just going to try a bit deeper there. Just going to try a different spot. Just as we're starting to lose the light. Yeah, we'll have a go here, I think, for a few minutes. Bit of an exploratory session, this one. You don't suss these places out unless you give them a go, do you? It's reasonably deep in here. It's about 4 foot here, I'd say, which is deeper than the rest of the stretch. Bit of a strange time of year though, this, you know, around about now, and the fish are sort of starting to think about spawning and what have you. So it's a little bit, can be a little bit deceptive this time of year. Well, that's just nice there, and as I say, there's a decent depth there as well. Put a bit of ground bait in around the float. Let's get the torch out in a minute. I've missed fishing the illuminated float in the torch beam. We'll give it half an hour here anyway, and then perhaps have another move. No problem night fishing this stretch. It's okay. Not going to fish too long into dark though. We might have a little bit of a go into dark. May well be worth bringing the Zander gear up here as well. Have you seen those Zander? Certainly one of them I saw was definitely a Zander. Well, taking time, but we're in. It's like another rud. Yeah. Yep, the rud. Lovely stuff. So wiry. There we are. Lovely stuff. That's fantastic. Right, I'm going to let him go a bit further at the bank. Well guys, that's me done. What a very, very bizarre session that was. I fished into dark. We had that rud just as it was starting to get dark, as you saw. And I haven't had a touch since. Very, very strange. You know, I'd expect in the canal the bream to switch on. I've experienced that in the past, admittedly not in this stretch, but very, very strange. You live and learn. It may be that they're off spawning though. Who knows? It's can be a bit funny this time of year, can't it, with the fish? Don't really get a true picture of a stretch, but I have to say I do like what I've seen so far. Some canal rud, that's fantastic, and I'm pretty sure we had some silver bream earlier. There's clearly some bream around, there's some perch. So yeah, it'd be fantastic. I'm going to definitely be back, give this stretch a go, and I would imagine bring the Zander rods at some point as well, as I saw that Zander earlier hunting. It was only about £3 or so, but you know, there's clearly some Zander here with all these prey species as well here. There's bound to be some predators here. So yeah, I'll be out again I think probably early next week, but for now, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Something a little bit different. Tight lines. Enjoy your own angling if you manage to get out during the close season. Many thanks to the channel patrons. Your support is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you again very soon.